Hey folks, Kevin here. Well, it's May 20th, 2022, and it's going to be a glorious day today. It's going to get too hot. Right now it's 58 degrees Fahrenheit, 7:30 in the morning. And so I want to get as much stuff done that requires any physical labor in the morning part before it gets up into the 80s this afternoon. This is a really an unusual season this year. We actually got, Thea got the tomatoes put in the ground here just the day before yesterday. And that has really changed things a lot because we usually can't get our plants in the ground until after Memorial Day, a week from now. So it looks like our extended forecast is pretty good. We have had some real high winds, power outages, a significant rainstorm as well, but we've been able to accomplish things despite our challenges we've had lately. So what I'm going to do is turn the camera around and tell you what I'm planning on doing today. So we're up here by the house. This is a pergola that's eventually going to come down as soon as I get around to it. This is where the hardy kiwi was. Well, the birds like nesting and all. I've taken both the male and female hardy kiwis and brought them over to the living fence line on the western side of the property. I mentioned yesterday that I was building a decomposing pile as opposed to a composting pile, and I'll make a video about that out back with the loads of leaves that we got from the municipality and the various wood chips that I've been taking out by reducing the size of our garden plots and removing some of the soil from here. So one of the things I want to do today is spend some time working on this garden plot here. And you may recall from video, I think it was in 2017 or 2018, about building the permanent raised beds and all. And you can see the depth of these beds. These were 3 foot tall when I first created all of these beds. So you can see there's a lot of really beautiful, rich soil here on top of the bony, gravelly ground down here. So far, I intend on keeping the rest of these beds. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 beds, and the 2 sides of the big trellis that will still continue to grow our scarlet red runner beans on. We had cover crops on all these beds. We had winter rye on the bed that I removed where Elon is sitting right now. One of the things I want to do is I've got to take down this garden fence, take up these weed mats down in here as well, and widen this out just a tad more and see where we go with this, because we're going to have a few more plants and we're going to be able to fit over here in this garden bed. Thea went ahead, I shortened up these beds yesterday and shortened up the drip tapes and shortened up some of the weed mats as well. And our goal, Thea's going to try and get some red onions in if she feels up to it today. So far, the rest of the plants are looking good. Whenever we restart using the drip tapes in the beginning of the season, we keep checking them because the ends will get blown off, the beginnings will, where they come off of the main line, will get blown off, those sorts of things as well. So I'll be taking this fencing down, working in this area, removing some of the weed mats. Yesterday I came over here towards the end of the day and I removed the fencing that went around in this area here. I decided that this is going to be lawn area here as well. So I still have to work on this and smooth this out, but I took a lot of the mulch and some of the compost and pushed it up here. This is where we had the black currants last year in this area here. And we'll do a garden update before too long, hopefully. Let's see here. Here's our spinach growing here. There's dill down here as well. The strawberry plants that we bought, no good. So this is the area that I'll be working on over in here. I have some tape to pick up, some work to do over in this area. This is sheetrock underneath this area here. And I'll try and answer any questions that people have about using sheetrock in our gardens as well to build soil. So it's one more way of reducing waste. So this was all cardboard sheet mulch. There is tape that was still attached to some of the cardboard. I'll be working on that. And let's see. I haven't finished working over in here or gotten things ready for the sweet potatoes yet, but that work's coming. So I'll be working over here, smoothing this out, trying to expand the bed that, I'm sorry, reduce the beds by removing the fencing over here. And hopefully I'll be able to accomplish a fair amount over in this area today. I'm hoping to. So we'll keep our fingers crossed and stop chatting and start working. So I use cable ties to hold my Premier One fencing posts to the T-posts. It really does help to stabilize these systems. And of course, these cable ties are reusable. So they slide in, lock real well, press that tab to release them. So I'm not just throwing plastic into the trash. And so they work extremely well. I love these cable ties. They give me about 3 years worth of work before the UV light really breaks them down. Okay, it's the same day. I believe it's 20th. It's afternoon. And unlike the old days, I'm pretty much pooped out. I don't know what I'll do, if I will do anything else yet. Thank God for having pieces of equipment like Elon here. That really makes some of these chores so much more palatable. So I was able to get a lot of the lemon balm out. I'll walk around here. I got quite a pile here. So years ago, I had blueberry bushes all along the dog run here, and then we put spearmint in around it, which overtook the blueberry bushes. So then I decided I'll just grow some of our annual plants along in this area, and that did work out pretty well. But that's when we use the weed mats with the holes burnt in them, and that really wasn't as desirable because there was still some more weeding. It wasn't as easy to get companion plants into the soil around it like we can with these beds. These beds with the weed mats going up, abutting each other right over the drip tape, that allows us just to pull the weed mats back and seed the beds with a cover crop, which is really super beneficial for the microorganisms in the soil. So there still are. I'll try and get this from the other side over here when I do take down this this section of well, I guess it's dog kennel paneling here. And but I did get a lot of the lemon balm out. I got that potted up over in the other area. I got the weed mats pulled back up in here. And I have to decide. I think I've got the driveway at the width that I want it to be now. So this bed has to be shortened quite a bit. So I'll be shortening this bed up probably a good 3 feet, bringing it back up to about to here. This bed I'll only shorten it a little bit. This one I'll shorten a little bit. We just want to be able to get easily with a fence that's going up here. We want to have an easy access with the one of our small little green carts coming up in here. So as we get older, it's easier to maintain these areas. And again, this is all temporary. Again, the way that I'm designing this, we'll be bringing in gravel to put down here to bring up the height of our driveway here. I'll use the stirrup hoe over here. This bed will really get cut back a few feet. And you can see we had reused a lot of our older weed mat where we had burned holes in it for various spacing of different plants and all. But the goal here is to be able to have easy access, have the fence here, have easy access where I'm not having to step over beds and all. So this bed will get shortened up, be able to work our way right up. We'll have smaller areas to be able to grow food in, and it'll be similar to the way that Thea was over here today, transplanting onion plants. But so she pulled the weed mats back away from the onion plants and away from the drip tapes so that these young, delicate, tender plants don't get burnt by the sun radiating, heating up the black weed mats and all. So those weed mats are pulled back. With the tomatoes, they haven't hardened up enough yet, but there's little sticks holding those apart. But this really makes all the difference in the world, having the weed mats coming right up tight together, the drip tape right next to the plants themselves. The drip tape will be underneath the weed mats like it is with these beds here. And as long as the plants get enough time, they get a couple of weeks of time where they develop more resistance to their main stem poking up from the soil. Those weed mats being close together really works out pretty darn well. And I can come down with a leaf blower and blow all the stuff off the surface of the weed mats. If we do get weeds and I want to toss them on top of the weed mats, they get fried in the hot summer sun. So that works out okay. So again, this is all temporary. Eventually, we're probably going to go with like dog kennel fencing around here that'll be at least 6 foot tall. To help keep the deer out. The same thing over in this area as well. So that's going to do it for today's video. I'm happy with what I did get accomplished. My back is healing, but I did overdo it a bit on the ground there some. We'll be modifying some of these weed mats here. I did come over with a Hulk, the Takushi TL12 V2 track loader there, and with Elon, the Takushi excavator, the TB290, and was able to get the excess wood chips that were over in here. I got most of the tape up. Got to put up in here, this is the area where we had the drip tape last season for all of the black currant plants that we started from hardwood cuttings. And we'll give you a progress report as we go along. So this year we'll be putting some cattle panels down here, extending it from the dog run area there. And eventually I think what we'll do is do something like these dog kennel panels that are 6 foot tall. They're light enough to be able to move around, and I can put them on some of those 4x8 by 16 blocks to give them a couple of inches to get up. So if a cat or some small mammal needs to get underneath it, that's okay with this type of bed. So that's where we are at this point. So if you have any comments or questions, please leave them below. And I hope you all stay good and safe and take good care of yourselves and don't overdo it, especially as it starts to heat up as we get this heat wave coming in here. Thanks so much for watching, folks, and have a super fantastic day. Bye-bye now.